Riba, my dear respected brothers and sisters, is never a solution for our needs. Riba actually increases our needs, increases our financial problems, increases our social, political, and financial problems. And as Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, that riba, even if you feel that it increases you, actually it destroys you. Yeah? And that's why, as we all know, that the only sin that Allah Jalla wa Ala promised to wage war against those who does that sin is the riba sin, the sin of riba. So Allah Jalla wa Ala promised, فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Yeah, the verse is in front of you. Yeah, in Surah Al-Baqarah. That those who consume riba, they are waging war against Allah and His Messenger, and Allah Jalla wa Ala is waging war against them. And brothers, sisters, I always mention this example. Those who use riba, they are actually thinking that riba is a solution for them. They are like the thirsty person who is thinking that by drinking the salt water or the sea water, he is extinguishing his thirst. Actually, he is making his problem worse and worse. Okay, this is a very important introduction that we need to put in mind, brothers and sisters, when we talk about Islamic finance. Inshallah, maybe in the coming course, we will be speaking and elaborating on this more. But this is just a brief introduction about Islamic finance and how we as Muslims view it. We want all of you brothers, all of you sisters, to explain to the entire humanity what does Islamic finance mean. It is not limited to the prohibition of riba. Explain to them about waqf. Explain to them about the principle of barakah. Explain to them about sadaqah. Explain to them about even hosting the guests. Okay, now let us talk about some technicalities. Yes, brothers and sisters, about the riba, or what constitutes a haram transaction. Some bit of technicalities, if we can go, yes, to that slide. Yes. Generally speaking, Islamic finance, brothers and sisters, by the way, it is not complicated. It is not complicated. It is, in fact, very simple. And to be honest with you, it can be explained maybe in a few hours. What makes it complicated is the application and the different products. And it is very unfortunate that many Islamic financial institutes, they meant to complicate their financial products in order to show to their customers that the matter is not that simple, it is very complicated. And sometimes they do this in order to deceive actually their customers by labeling such products as halal products, but in reality they are a clear haram products. Okay, the summary of what makes a transaction haram. As Brother Umar mentioned in the beginning, the original principle is the transaction is halal. Any transaction is halal except if there are certain haram things in it. Yeah, it is not the other way around, as he said. And this is, by the way, we can elaborate on this inshallah in the course, that this helps us to be innovative and creative in terms of producing products that meet the needs and the challenges we as human beings face in this time. And the different challenges different human beings face in different environments, in different systems as well. Now, the summary of what is haram in transactions. First of all, if the transaction involves anything that violates the rights of Allah Jalla wa Ala, then that is haram. Of course, that is obvious, but the very basic example that is mentioned here is buying and selling, in particular, and some scholars said, or included in that, transactions that are carried out while you have a religious and immediate religious duty. And the basis of this, what Allah Jalla wa Ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. If the call for salah is started on the day of Jum'ah, which means that you cannot delay this religious duty, then go and attend the salah and stop the financial transactions. Stop bay' and shira. So this is the first one. Of course, we are giving a concise summary, my dear respected brothers and sisters. The second one is riba. Okay, what is riba? Again, briefly, the Prophet ﷺ in Hadith Ubadah, he listed 6 commodities. They are the key commodities that human beings are in need of. And those 6 commodities are called the ribawi commodities. So any commodity of those is subject to riba in certain circumstances. And those commodities, or what is equal to those commodities. Of course, now we cannot mention all of them, but briefly, we have the main commodities that are subject to riba in certain transactions is gold and silver. Briefly, any transaction, brothers and sisters, where you are exchanging money for a different amount of money, this is riba. Whether you exchange it directly, or directly means promptly, or later. I give you 100 pounds, you give me later 120 pounds, this is riba. I give you 100 pounds, and then you give me $120 later, this is riba. Okay? However, if I exchange money for money immediately on this pot, but there are different types of money, this is not riba, and we will explain this, inshallah, in more details in the transaction. In the course. Now, the third main reason for the prohibition of transactions, which is ghash, deception. Any transaction that involves any deception, then it is haram. The Prophet ﷺ says, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ غَشَّنَا فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا, or مَنْ غَشَّ فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا, the one who cheats is not one of us. And the fourth main reason for making any transaction haram is gambling. What is gambling? Gambling, any transaction that has 2 conditions. Earning money, so this is one. The second one is by luck. So any transaction whereby you earn money by luck, then it is haram. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited this, and in the Quran, it is called al-istiqsamu bil-azlam. It is clear, وَأَن تَسْتَقْسِمُوا بِالْأَزْلَامِ, this is clear haram. Then the fifth one, exchanging what is haram. So selling alcohol is haram because you are exchanging what is haram. Exchanging or selling pornography, or helping someone to sell pornography, or many people now are involved in building websites that are that promote haram. Even their work will become haram. Okay, the sixth one, any transaction that will create hatred among Muslims. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ prohibited someone to sell something after his brother accepted to buy it for a certain price. So if I want to buy something and it is like an auction, just the typical example, I paid for it £100 and it was agreed. Yeah, it was agreed sale. It is the auction has been finalized. And then a person, after it has been finalized, he said, listen, I will pay for it more. Yeah, that will create hatred in our hearts. And this shows that Islamic finance, brothers and sisters, is not very technical. It is connected to the social setup of the Ummah. Is not divorced from the other systems that human beings have to live by. And then the final one is the transactions that involve considerable amount of gharar, uncertainty. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited people to sell fish in the water. Why? Because maybe you don't know the size of the fish. You don't know whether you will be able to hand them or not. Yeah. And the Prophet ﷺ naha an bay' al-gharar. Of course, there are many details regarding each of those.